Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of 3 Minute Game Pass. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you whether this Game Pass game is worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Greedfall. A new island of magic and mystery has been discovered by your old world explorers. Will you find RPG riches worthy of royalty, or is this just greedy garbage? Let's find out. Greedfall is an Xbox and PC release. It has no cross-save play or Chivo feature whatsoever, though they live in their own separate worlds. And this game has recently been upgraded for Series S and X for 60 FPS in performance mode. You should definitely do that over quality mode, just trust me on that. And the game is about 20 to 25 hours long for the main campaign, can go a bit longer if you do all the side quests. So what exactly is Greedfall? Well, it's a semi-open world RPG in the vein of a 2000s BioWare game, such as Dragon Age Inquisition. As such, expect to have multiple options to deal with quests, tasks, and combat as you explore this new island world, interact with the natives, and try to find a compromise between the colonizers and those who would be colonized. Greedfall is all about your character and building the way you wish. Combat is split between magic, sharp weapons, blunt weapons, and traps, while other skills complement these choices. Of course, you can mix and match. Additionally, certain traits will affect things outside of combat, such as charisma or item crafting. Need to get into a building? Maybe you can talk your way in. Maybe you can pick a lock. Maybe you can just make a bomb and blow the wall down. Options are key to these types of games, and this one has lots of them. In addition to questing, you'll be spending a good time exploring the open world map. It's not truly open world, as each area is kind of a zone that's separated from another area, and then they're all interconnected with fast travel camps that you discover, but the zones are pretty big and the world feels cohesive. The combat itself is fairly basic. There's no turn-based stuff here. You're not going to be stopping the game like you would in a Dragon Age or Baldur's Gate game. It's just kind of a bit of an action-packed experience where you can hotkey some items or traps or whatever you will and engage in combat that way. Overall, pretty simple, not as complex as the tutorial made it out to be. All in all, you'll mostly be exploring the world to complete and solve quests, interacting with the story of colonizers and natives, and shaping your character around the tasks set before you. So what do I like about Greedfall? Well, I found the RPG elements to be fantastic. There are tons of different ways to build your character and solve problems, giving you a lot of freedom, which is kind of a theme of this game. The world is very rich and interesting, and I found the characters and companions to be engaging and got sucked in really easily to the story and its RPG, which I really liked. And lastly, I found that the story itself was interesting with a lot of difficult choices. Given that this is a story of colonizers and those being colonized, the natives, there isn't really a good right or wrong here in a lot of these situations to try and help people out, which led to some interesting decisions. In terms of things I didn't like, I found that most of the quests are hit or miss, and a lot of them are running back and forth through a lot of different areas, just visiting people and then visiting someone else. Not inspired quest design. The game also has weird difficulty problems where it's way too easy on the second half. Even on the hardest difficulty, you are going to cruise through it, which kind of makes the combat a little more boring. And lastly, I ran into more than a few production issues. It's got graphical glitches, the character models don't look great, there's weird UI decisions like no mini-map, and I suffered more than a few frame rate problems even on the Series S with this optimized version, so expect it to have some rough corners. As you know, I rate games on a 3-point scale. Must play, maybe consider, don't bother. This is a maybe consider, but it is 100% a hidden gem, and I highly recommend it. While this AA game is a bit rough around the edges, it does evoke the feeling of those early to mid 2000s RPGs. With a huge world to explore and tons of ways to approach problems, Greedfall was a delight for me from start to finish. If you don't like these types of games, I don't think this one will be the one to change your mind, but if you've been itching for Dragon Age 3 that never came out, Greedfall will scratch that itch wonderfully. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Go out there and enjoy Greedfall.